What's going on, everybody? Brian from the Gear and Beer Show. We are down here at Forcible Entry Incorporated testing out their new Patrolman's kit that's going to be offered on FE Supply. Check it out. Hey everybody, welcome to the Gear and Beer Show studio where we are unveiling our brand new bar, our brand new set. Joining us is a firefighter, unfortunately, and some law enforcement experience because he's been on a SWAT team as a medic, an OG to the show, Adam.
Hey, thanks for having me, Brian.
Dude, super stoked you're here. Thank you for giving us your expertise and your time.
I wouldn't call it expertise, but I'm here.
Well, we told everybody you were an expert.
Okay, well, as long as they think I'm an expert. I love the studio. It looks great.
Yeah. What do you think of the bar? Because you were here when we had the casting couch. I mean, the regular couch.
Yeah. No, the couch is comfortable, but you know what?
We thought you'd think that.
This looks a little more professional, and I'm a little less scared sitting here than I was on the couch. So
it's a little offensive saying a little bit more professional, but I'll take that. It does look good. Thank you. So we're obviously going to talk about firefighter tools that they made for cops because we use them a lot better than you guys do. So
when they're this size, you do, but that's cool.
You know, when they're smaller, it's easier to maneuver. You
Absolutely.
You can get into a lot more trouble when it's smaller. But dude, before we dive into this, what we always do is we like to talk about it over a beer. So we got something special for you today.
Awesome. Because
we know you firefighters like special drinks.
Yeah, I'm getting thirsty.
Here we go.
Don't drop it. All right, Adam. So we got El Segundo Brewing Co. and we're drinking Spirit of 76. So go ahead and pour your glass. I'll dive into this a little bit. This has got 7.2% alcohol content. And I'm going to say this is one of the most patriotic American cans I've ever seen. It's an Indian Pale Ale. And Justin, I don't know if we can get this. Is this in frame? This can is beautiful. Just on the back, we the people, man. I love it. Best can I've ever seen.
Very patriotic.
So here's a cool thing we're doing with the show, Adam. You're the first one to hear about this, along with the new set and along with all the stuff we have going on. Justin and I are going to form a top 10 list of our favorite beers.
I love it.
And a top 10 list of our favorite labels. So if you're a beer company out there and you want to be on a top 10 list, we're nothing right now, but we could be something soon. We want to get artwork back into the
You're definitely going to want our opinion.
Yeah, and you're going to want our opinion. It's the most important thing, and people want to hear it. But, dude, this can's sweet. Before we get into it, dude, cheers to you.
Oh, that's good. That's a really good IPA.
Yeah, that's a great comment to say after you're going to want to know my opinion, and then it's just, oh, that's good. You know what? It would be great is if that tastes like some freaking freedom right there.
It does taste like freedom, and I feel more free drinking it with this beautiful can next to me.
I feel patriotic as hell right now, and I think that's the whole point.
I feel free enough to drink the whole can.
You are free enough to drink the whole can. Where's the excitement in the first drink? It's just, does it take two for you?
Nope. I'm gonna need the whole thing. Hold on. That's delicious.
That's America.
That's
America in a can right there.
Where's this brewery?
Justin, this is not far from here, right?
No, it's SoCal.
El Segundo, SoCal. But some sad news. Are they not printing this can soon?
I heard from a very good source, Uptown Liquor in Whittier, that this is a limited run from El Segundo.
So you've heard it here first. This could potentially be a limited run.
If you want this can, get it now. This is going on my shelf at home.
You can have that can. This is El Segundo. This is being placed in our bar. This is being added. This can's awesome. Freaking love it. Love it.
It's my number one.
This is on my top 10 because we haven't dove into our top 10. I don't know where this would fall for me, but this is clearly
Right now,
Justin's
it's
number one.
It's number one.
And that's fine. It can wise. I would say label wise, this is my number one for the label.
Oh, yeah.
Beer wise,
Absolutely.
flavor, because we're not going to separate right now. Pale ales versus West Coast IPAs
straight
versus
beer.
we're just doing straight beer.
I love
This is probably definitely in my top 10. Definitely, yeah, fucking idiot. Definitely in my top 10, but I don't know where yet because we've had a lot of good beer so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it'll be there. So I'll have to say, you're a firefighter. These tools kind of were homegrown in your backyard and now being introduced into law enforcement. What do you think of this kind of patrolman's kit that FE Supply's putting out for law enforcement use?
Just the first look, I think it looks awesome. I love the black, the coating over it. It's got a nice sleek look and design to it. It looks like it's light, mobile, easy to carry. Easy to deploy quickly, which is important if you're trying to force a door. Obviously, for us, it's either a fire on the other end or a medical patient that's having an issue. For you guys, it could be anything from an active shooter to somebody in distress somehow inside a house or a building. So having it quickly available is definitely a plus. This is a little bit smaller than the typical setup that I'm used to, but for you guys having it, like I said, you know what? It's you buy this one in the kids section on the website. In the adult section, you buy one that's this size. Just saying, this is the adult Halligan bar. You can find him. You can find his setup right next to the kids' shoes. I don't know if they sell kids' shoes, but.
I don't know, dude, but when it's kids stuff, it usually goes on sale faster.
That's true. But for the one thing I like about the setup for the sledge, I think you said it was an 8-pound sledge.
It's a 6-pound sledge.
6-pound sledge. Okay.
The overall weight could be maybe 8 pounds. I'm not sure. The handle on it is they went with the unbreakable handle.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that like Hogue rubber grip feeling.
Yep.
And then their actual Halligan tool weighs about 7 pounds, and it's an investment cast. So
yeah, investment cast, I believe.
Should be it's all one piece, and then you get their wedge with it. And right here is like phase 1 of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So soon, if you're online, you're going to order it. This is going to be able to magnetize the Halligan's going to be able to magnetize to the sledge. They're going to somehow figure out how to fit the wedge in there. It's either going to come in a box or they're going to just make it to where it's a sling. So law enforcement can just put it in the back of their rigs.
Yep,
and when they need it, they can throw it over their shoulder, and either they can deploy with it or the guy in a stack behind them can pull this out and go to work.
Yeah, and it looks like it's small enough to be able to be handled and used by one person, which is nice because you're not always going to have 2 guys available to force a door.
Oh yeah.
You guys, you're going to be providing cover outside. Not everybody's going to be able to be engaged on that door because it can be a process. You can come up on some doors that are extremely secured, and it can take upwards of 10 minutes if you're sitting there fighting with it, especially if somebody's unfamiliar with the tool or the type of door that they're forcing. So you can't have 2 people all the time. One person's kind of critical, which is nice.
2 people's like a luxury.
2 people is a luxury.
I'm thinking of a call out like an active shooter. Those have been in the news. They're always in the news. An active shooter. If the doors are locked on a school and I can't find keys, I may be going by myself. 2's a luxury. I maybe have to take this by myself.
Absolutely.
Get through a door.
Yeah, and things that cops need to remember because their brains are a little bit smaller. Just things that are drilled into our head from day one. Try before you pry, obviously. That door might be unlocked, and I'm sure they teach that in the class, but you would be surprised how many trainings I go to where guys, they'll set it up to bait guys to where they'll leave the door unlocked. Like, all right, you have to go force this door. It's part of the scenario, and then they'll go to force the door and not even realize that it's already unlocked. So, but yeah,
you guys
there's
make
also,
up cute little sayings for each other.
Yeah,
don't
try before you pry. It's how I remember things, dude.
You guys make that all up while you're sitting on your lazy boys?
Firemen need pictures and colors, dude. That's what we need. Yeah. So, but it's, and then the other thing is you might not even have to, only have to use this sledge to get through the door, which is nice. You might be able to have a door, there might be an integrated window within the door that you can just break and smash. That's a little less orthodox for firefighters because we really try to control the door after we've forced it open, because getting into technicalities, but you kind of create a flow path if there's an active fire in a house, and introduction of air kind of changes fire behavior. You guys don't necessarily have to worry about that kind of thing. So it's nice if there's a window there, you can smash that. And then if you need to go to prying the door open, you just go to your bar over here and get to work.
Yeah, and they definitely didn't make this hammer too heavy to where you couldn't continue carrying this through the house, because this may get you through the first door, the entire kit. But if you're using interior doors and you have 6 more locked doors inside this house,
absolutely,
you just need that sledgehammer. You can start just smashing
the sludge, or even if you don't have the sludge with you dropped it, or you just have the bar, you can force the door with just the bar itself. If you have a little bit of experience and training, you've taken the time, you could typically get through a door with just a Halligan bar by yourself, especially those residential interior doors that might have a lock on them. They're really flimsy and terrible. If you're dealing with a commercial building, you're going to have a little bit heavier duty door to deal with.
They're usually outward swinging, so it makes it a little bit
Yeah. So that's something we look
trickier
for as well with the outward swinging. Outward swinging doors, inward swinging. For people just watching this podcast without any experience, you're looking for door hinges on one side of the door. If you can see door hinges, that means it's an outward swinging door. If you can't see the door hinges and maybe the door is set back a little bit, that typically means it's an inward swinging door. You're going to be using a different side of your tool for each of those different applications. And sometimes, you'll interchange which side you're using to get your leverage and maybe make yourself a gap while you're doing it. But typically your outward swinging doors, you're going to be using your adz end, and your inward swinging doors, you're going to be using your pick end on the other side. So, and I see that this tool has some marks. I don't know if anybody could see that on the camera, but there's marks there to it gives you an indicator of when you're going to be past the jam on the door to where you're going to have enough leverage to pry the door open. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, to get past that like center door stop.
Absolutely, yeah.
On the door. And what I've learned being trained on how to use this cut on the adz side, which is like this duckbill end, really matters. If it's cut from the bottom up and doing an angle more like this, it's going to have zero effect. But if you have it from the top down, that's what's going to help generate that
your
bite to get around that that stop to get through the door completely to give you the leverage to rip the door open.
Absolutely. Yeah, and guys are always modifying their tools, especially in the fire service. You'll go to a firehouse and you'll see a Halligan bar cut and grinded a dozen different ways for guys that have their personal tools that, just like particular things that they'll do to their tools. But the overall concept is the same, and they're fairly easy to use. And I like the concept. This setup is great.
I think it's a great move for law enforcement moving to this kind of setup for breachers, because when I went through a training with this for the first time, I really saw how important these tools were. And basically this thing is like the key to the city. Yeah. And if you've seen SWAT where they punch that thing through the back wall and they rip the whole wall of the house off, I'm like, if they just had a tool like this Halligan, they could probably get through any door. And the cool thing is, if you get training on a Halligan and you're in law enforcement and your agency doesn't have one of these, but you get sent to a call where there's an active shooter or something, you guys, firefighter, will likely be there because you're going to get ready to triage victims.
Absolutely.
So all I would have to do is run up to a truck and be like, I need your Halligan. These doors are locked, and you guys are going to have something that resembles this enough to where I can take that and go to work.
I don't know if you can take that and go to work. Ours are a little bit heavier, a little bit longer, so it might be harder for you guys to pick them up. But you can try. It's definitely worth it.
I feel like if you could get your butt out of a lazy boy and put that Halligan in the car, I'd have no problem holding that thing.
Dude, it's really hard to get past the door when you got a donut-eating gut. So
yeah, and it's probably even harder when you got your chef inside making a delicious dinner and you're like, really?
You know what? We need nutrition because we do a lot of work. So
you call that nutrition? Okay. Your Philly cheesesteak Fridays and nutrition?
Oh, I love it. This is great.
So this is actually totally different for the Gear and Beer Show. This is the first episode we filmed with gear specifically geared towards first responders. Most of the stuff we've done is for anybody.
Thanks
Yeah.
to who? Thanks to who?
This is thanks to Chuck and the boys at Forcible Entry, who sponsor our show, and Effie Supply Co. has come out, and this is their first main product that they're releasing, produced by Forcible Entry and Effie Supply.
Yeah.
So they kind of invited us down to take a look at it. We got to watch actually a SWAT team use it, and they were trained on how to use a Halligan to their advantage. And touching this tool for the first time, when I went through their course at Breaching and Barbecue, which if you want to go to, it's free. All you have to do is reach out to Forcible Entry Inc. Tell them you want to do Breaching and Barbecue. It's free. You get about 10 guys to go, and that's for fire or law enforcement. Pretty awesome. That was the first time I touched a Halligan, was at Breaching and Barbecue. And they showed me how to use it. I went in, I screwed it up. They showed me again, I screwed it up. And by the third time, I felt pretty comfortable. And the more I did it, the more comfortable I got with this tool and the faster I was getting at breaching a door. And the funniest part was they challenged us to take our biggest guy on our SWAT team, put him with a regular breaching sledge, and then put a smaller guy with basically this setup, and they timed us to go through the door, and our smaller guy made it through faster. And not only did he make it through faster, he made it through with enough energy left to where if he had to draw his firearm and engage somebody, he had all the stamina in the world to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where once our big guy went through, he was gassed.
Yeah.
He was so tired.
Yeah, you could spend 10 minutes swinging on a door and not get through. And if you're pretty well trained on one of these things, you can make it through a door in 20, 30 seconds. So I can tell that they paid attention to the details with this setup. It's obviously guys that know what they're doing. It's always better to have one piece, which this one is. You see a lot of the 3-piece Halligans out there. There's not a lot left because everybody realized that they sucked. They would fall apart or break or whatever it was. They just didn't function as well.
Yeah.
And then little pieces like this, the right angle on the fork end right here. This is a thing that you'll see a lot of firemen do to their own Halligan bars, because a typical Halligan bar comes with a curved edge that comes off of the bar right here into the adze. So you see a lot of guys actually go in and cut that right angle onto the top of the adze end because it provides another purchase point to be able to shove a tool like an axe and be able to hit it at a right angle. Whereas if you have a slope right there on that side, your tool is just going to slide off. So
I never knew that.
It's a nice little feature that I'm glad that they thought of, because I've done it just a couple times, and modifying tools at work, just because the ones that we ordered have had that curved bar, but it's definitely a little detail that they placed in there that I really like.
Now you know where to order from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quality products.
Yes, good product.
So I know you were saying when you were kind of picking this up and messing around with it, we're missing the spike. If you have, we have our other Forcible Entry, like legit,
so like
full
I said,
size
men's section. This is the Halligan bar. But
is that too heavy? You want me to help you?
No, it's fine. Can you hold this by yourself? Okay.
All right, dude. Poke fun at my injury all you want.
But you'll have the pick end here. It just provides a couple of different ways to force through a door. And it can provide a little bit of additional leverage. Like if you can imagine shoving this in through a door jamb, and you might be able to shove the adze into the jamb and kind of pry. Say you're not getting enough, or it's just not working out, and you want to try putting both of these ends in at kind of an angle to kind of form a triangle.
Yeah.
With the door and the jamb, you can do that. And then you can also shove this into this end into the jamb to be able to use this and pry down. But it's just it's a little addition.
Can you pull that up to show those notches?
Yeah.
They pre-cut
right
the notches that we were talking about.
Yeah.
If you can see that right here. So once you hit that point when you're ramming that thing through the gap in the door, that once it's not going past that notch, once that notch is in line with the edge of the door, you could cant that tool out.
Yeah.
Keep smashing and make it around that middle section, that like stop section of a door.
And typically when I see those, I really like it. It's a good, distance judge for me. I'll always put it in a couple more swings Another thing that I like that they included with the kit is a wedge. Typically, we always carry a wedge. Like I carry a wedge with my gear. So this can help you to maintain any gap that you create. It's basically just kind of a progress catch, because there's nothing worse than going and fidgeting with a door and using all your energy, and you got in there and you were finally maybe able to get a gap on a really troublesome door, and something happens, somebody swings the tool wrong, or you bend the tool the wrong way and it pops out and you lose that little bit of opening that you had. So this is nice just to be able to shove in there to keep that space that you created, and then you can kind of pull your tools out, reset, and you'll be at the progress point that you had already made, without losing it. So I'm glad that they included this in.
It seems like a nothing piece, but it's super valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
Once you get that, I mean, you could have doors that are so tightly closed that once you get that gap, it's worth throwing that thing in to hold your gap for you, so you can move to maybe closer to where the deadbolt is, or closer to where whatever security set they have on the door or lock that, you can move to that.
Yep. And these have a multitude of other uses as well. You can use these to keep doors closed, keep doors open. Firefighting applications, we can use these to find.
You know what you could do? You could actually put this on your armrest to angle the remote to the TV, so all it is you're just doing finger motions at that point.
Maybe you guys can leave this at a door you've opened without a warrant on a no-knock search. Just shove the wedge under there so the door stays open, so it looks like the person invited you in, but they really didn't.
Every open door is an invitation.
I can't even remember what else I was going to say about this thing. Sprinklers. If you want to stop a sprinkler, sometimes these are small enough that you can shove them inside a sprinkler that's going off to stop the flow of the water. So that's another application that we'll use these for.
So that you usually use that around the times when you guys are doing your calendar shoots?
No calendar shoots where I work. I'm too pale and white.
Well, you've never been invited. I'm not talking
Absolutely
about you.
not. No. There's other dudes that they might carry this.
You're the one that's like, I bet I could use that wedge to turn that sprinkler off for you, Chad. Well, the cool thing about this Patrolman's kit too is if you've watched this show and you think it's worth purchasing for your agency, or you want to just test it out to see if it's worth its weight in gold, you can actually go to the Breaching and Barbecue. They have all their gear out there that Forcible Entry supplies through FE Supply, and you can take it, beat it up. Oh, dude, we got a Code 3 run during a show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cheers to you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Do we do that?
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Oh, yeah. We're
it.
cheersing. That's a huge support to the first responders out there. Thank you for your service, and thank you for keeping us safe. Dude, it's been so long since you've been on the show, you forgot what to do. You're just like, man. Yeah, dude, that is.
I need to come around here more often.
That's definitely a fire truck. That's engine, blah, 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 blah.
I just see these things. There's a guy near the station that I'm working at right now that will come to the station and get angry if we run our sirens in town. Like, he's almost started a fight with a couple of our guys. He gets angry.
I don't blame him. You guys don't need to run your sirens.
We lay on it a little bit hard. It's kind of fun.
But anyways, back to what I was saying. If you guys want to beat up somebody else's tools and not your own, and you want to test it before you buy it, Forcible Entry allows you to do that at their Breaching and Barbecue. They have all this gear out. You can try their gear. You can test out. You can learn all the ins and outs of what they offer and then take it back to your agency, or you can bring somebody up who's the purchasing person within your agency, have them run it and understand why you need it.
Yeah.
And then instead of going back to try and talk them into why you need it, just have them go hands-on with it, and they'll see why they need it. I would say you could get through 95% or more of the doors that are out there.
Probably. Yeah.
And I mean, we're not asking everybody out there to be heroes, but if heroes in your blood, you might as well buy one of these, because you're going to be the same guy that, even if you had this or not, you're going to be out there trying to get into your neighbor's house if it's on fire to make sure they're okay if you don't see them outside. So you might as well just have this tool, especially if your neighbor's a firefighter and you got to get them out of that house. I mean, you need some bragging rights right there to be like, I use your own tool to get you out of your house.
I'm probably passed out in my recliner at home.
Yeah.
If there's a fire in my house. And I'll be really grateful to the cops that show up first.
Yeah, you know those King electric beds that they made adjustments for? They go up and down by remote. They made those for firefighter couples.
Yeah, they do the recliners as well.
Yeah.
You can just lift yourself out. And you know what? When I'm done, you guys end up saving me. I'll buy you a box of donuts.
Yeah.
You guys can trade
We'll
them.
eat those power rings, and we'll get enough juice to get to the next call.
The next call where you beat somebody up for no reason. It'll be great.
You know, there's always a reason for everything. You just don't see it when they show you 3 seconds of that clip.
You know what? 3 seconds is all I need.
Well, your wife said the same thing. Anyways, Forcible Entry, thank you for supplying us this tool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, FE Supply. Adam, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And go check out El Segundo Brewing Company if you want to taste a delicious beer, because it gets better and you feel more free the more you drink it. And the more our freedom gets infringed upon, you might as well drink this because it's going to make you feel like a freaking American. So,
The exact opposite of Bud Light in this can right here.
This is the least politically correct beer you could buy. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. Cheers to all you first responders out there. Thank you so much.
This is Chuck with Forcible Entry Inc. here supporting the Gear and Beer Show. If you need tools, training, products, infrastructure, reach out to us at FE Supply Company or Forcible Entry Inc.
Hi, I'm Sam Paredes. I'm Executive Director of Gun Owners of California. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors of Gun Owners of America and Gun Owners Foundation. Want to let you know that we are here to sponsor Gear and Beer Show. I'm taking this with me. See ya.